I'm Ina Steiner from Auction Bytes, and I'm here with Nate Gilmore of Shipwire. Hi, Nate.
Hi.
We're here at the PayPal Developers Conference. So tell me what the new PayPal apps means for Shipwire.
We are actually taking Shipwire. We launched our software-only platform about 3 months ago. You can actually read about it on Auction Bytes. But we separated our software from our warehouse and allow anybody to use our software to manage their own do-it-yourself fulfillment at their garage or their retail store or their warehouse. So we took that entire application and we embedded it inside of PayPal. So what PayPal allowed us to do was they built a developer-friendly framework that gave us essentially, in kind of vernacular, is a canvas to write our application inside of PayPal. And we're one of 11 companies that did this during their kind of the beta period. And over the next 3 months, they're going to be inviting other developers to do this. And then my understanding is it launches in like January, February, or March, Q1 sometime of next year, where you'll be able to see it live in your PayPal account. So when you log into PayPal, you'll actually be able to just open up Shipwire inside of PayPal essentially. It'll have a little apps tray where you can go in and you can see us and a bunch of other companies, and you can say, hey, add Shipwire to my PayPal account. And then Shipwire can actually then get access to your PayPal transactions so that we can recommend which transaction should ship with which carrier, and to sync that into your Shipwire account should you decide to add one. If not, you can just print shipping labels straight from PayPal.
And do you see any other applications in PayPal that are useful? Your shipping and fulfillment.
I think Bill.com was pretty cool. You know me, I'm a small business e-commerce guy. So the consumer apps were less interesting to me than like the FreshBooks. The FreshBooks put an integration in. So if you're in the services industry or you are in manufacturing, you're doing POs or invoicing, that was kind of interesting. Bill.com to allow small businesses to pay their bills with their PayPal account inside of that. Plus, there was a lot of really cool consumer apps. There was one called Plastic Jungle I thought was really fascinating because I've got all these old gift cards. I mean, I've got like a stack of probably 6 or 7 of them, and they're from places I moved from years ago. And they'll allow me to trade these in for actual cash. So I thought that was actually kind of cool. And to be able to do all that within your PayPal account is interesting.
Right, and I think some of the reporting that I've seen the apps do is what's really interesting for the merchants, to be able to get all that data and just pull it automatically so they don't have to import it into their different applications that they're using.
Yeah, if you're jumping between different software platforms, you're taking your orders out of your Shopify store and syncing them with your QuickBooks. If you had to do all that manually, that gets to be pretty painful. So I think making sure that your data flows correctly is a really big challenge being faced by anybody using multiple software platforms over the next few years. It's one of the reasons why we're actually part of the small business web, is because there's a whole bunch of like-minded small business software vendors that are coming together saying, look, we need to have readily available APIs that we can all talk to, and so small businesses can move data between the different applications so that Shipwire works with Shopify, and Shopify works with FreshBooks, and FreshBooks works with Outright. So I think that's really something that's going to be, it's already happening, and it's going to happen more and more and more. And what PayPal's done with the embedded apps and their PayPal X developer platform is make their data framework available. And we've seen this even with eBay, with eBay Open. It's a little bit different modality of usage, but it's, hey, how do we get the data, share it with other applications, make it really easy for small businesses to use these new software platforms to optimize and hopefully make it a little bit easier to do business online.
So it's all about open, but I do want to get back to, for small merchants who are listening, you are a fulfillment and shipping house, so what do you see merchants doing right and wrong? We talked about inserts. What can merchants do to kind of keep the customer coming back?
Yeah. Look, behind the transaction is probably 10% of your cost. So once somebody buys something from your online store, probably about 10% of the business cost is about ready to happen with a particular product, right? You've got to ship it, you've got to package it, you've got to handle the customer support. If there's a return, it's going to be more than 10%.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if the return was your fault, it's going to be way more than 10%. So I think a small business, you know, I think a lot of people are focused on, well, we have to get the sale. Without a doubt, you have to get the sale. But then what happens after the sale is probably just as important, if not more so, for the bottom line of the business. That's kind of where Shipwire first focused was, how do we give small businesses a shipping tool that allows them to have the shipping expertise and the ability to bring their cost down like a Fortune 500 shipper would. That's why we put warehouses all over the world and allow them to move inventory into that. That's why we launched Shipwire Anywhere, so that we can give them a software package for free to route orders, print shipping labels, and automate with their online store, just like a Shipwire warehouse would. Now you can route the orders to your retail store, or to your garage, or to your small warehouse. But you can also do a whole lot more to really grow your business after you get that first transaction. You know, it's not just email messaging and cross-selling, it's inserts. It's making sure that you drop a sample in for maybe, or a catalog, or even a promotional DVD. What can you do to lock that customer to you, so when they open that package, they're opening almost like your brand as a lifestyle. And as some sellers get more and more into the idea that they're communicating a brand, and that the brand is just as important as when they get the package and they open it up, that there is some level of excitement involved with that. That's when you can do really well at getting a repeat buyer, or maybe even word of mouth marketing that's going to allow you to acquire that next customer from this present one. 10, 15 years ago, even today, when you walk into your neighborhood coffee shop, odds are that there's maybe a bulletin board in there, or they've got a small little table still sitting there with all the local shops that are friends with that coffee shop. And there's coupons.
I've seen sellers who kind of work together in a particular category, but
correct.
But there is a lot that can be done.
It's a smart thing to do.
I just want to close by asking you: is there anything at the conference that surprised you, or excited you, or was interesting?
This is a developer conference. This is like we were talking about it a minute ago. This is e-commerce being brought to the developers, and developers bringing their new and exciting things to e-commerce. So we're seeing a ton of mobile, we're seeing a ton of social, we're seeing kind of the Groupon real-time shopping Woots of the world, but I still think that we haven't even seen the best Facebook shop out there yet.
Well, everybody's talking about Facebook, and they made a very interesting announcement yesterday about integrating with PayPal. So
micropayments, but they didn't talk about e-commerce. They talked about net deliverable e-commerce. I think we're seeing a lot of that here. And in our world with auctions, it's physical e-commerce. And there's a difference between physical e-commerce and net deliverables.
I think a lot of people want to buy goods and clothing and so on, and rather than John Deere tractors.
So we've seen the pavement. We've seen pavement here. There's a couple of other interesting social shopping.
Right. And we'll be talking to quite a few of them. But
those are new channels for people to be able to sell in. Just like eBay was a channel, has been a channel for 10 years, and Amazon. These social channels are going to be massive, and learning about them and learning how to put your products in the stream of social buying is going to be huge.
It's always fun to chat with you, Nate. Thank you so much. That was Nate Gilmore from Shipwire. I'm Ina Steiner, reporting for Auction Bites.